Okay, so hopefully this is better. Obviously, live streaming from my computer does not work for today, so I'll try it again, but for the time being, I'll just be on my phone. If anybody joins us live, just let me know who you are, where you're coming from, and if you can see me okay now, just so that I can be sure and start diving in to today's subject. So hello to all of you. Thank you for joining us. I'd love to hear how you're feeling today. I'm feeling a little bit tired after the overactivity of the weekend. So, I'm in that moon, softer, calmer, more peaceful space. So I'm coming to you from that space today. And as I told you yesterday, what we'll be talking about today is what chakra psychology and therapy really is, what it isn't, and what it means to work with the chakras and on our chakras, and also how it is different from other approaches, how it is different from more spiritual approaches, healing approaches when it comes to the chakras. And so this post, this live video and this discussion was inspired by a question that a member of our group posted 2 days ago. And I was about, what it means to work with the chakras. And I was intrigued by that because I anyway wanted to speak about that. Since I started mentioning the chakras more, I really wanted to talk about what that means. Because there are many ways to work with the chakras, and each of us can have a very different idea and perception of what that means. And I thought that was particularly important these days because, a few years ago, like the word chakras was not that common. Like people didn't know what the chakras were, or most people, the average person, everyday person that was not involved in spirituality, they didn't know what the chakras were. But lately, with all, yoga becoming such a big thing, meditation, alternative approaches, healing, Reiki, all of that becoming so big and getting quite mainstream these days, right? Almost everybody has heard about, well, yoga everybody, but Reiki also, healing, all of these approaches have reached many, many, many people around the world. And so I think that most people have heard of the chakras, but mostly through approaches that are, more spiritual, that are related to healing, and the words, the phrases, the terms that we use, chakra clearing or chakra healing or crystal healing or any approach that you have heard the word chakra through is mostly in that realm, in the spiritual realm, in the alternative new age or non-new age realm. And I have to say, so these approaches are amazing. I've tried them. I use them very often. I'm a Reiki practitioner and healer. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm very much into spirituality generally. I'm into this world. However, I also wanted to talk about what chakra therapy and psychology is and how it is different from these approaches. Simply because very often, especially when it comes to food, weight, and body image issues, I personally do not believe that these approaches are enough. So healing tends to work on the energy body, tends to work on the level of the energy, the subtle body, and in a more universal way. So it works with the self with a capital S, with our spiritual essence, with our light essence. But when it comes to working on actual issues in our daily life, such as food and body issues, working on that transpersonal level, that level that goes beyond the personal, but beyond the purely human, is not always enough. And I will tell you my own experience a little bit about that, how, when I was, you might already know, you might have read or heard that obviously I used to have my own food and body image issues. And that involved anorexia, a very negative body image issue, body image, and similar emotional eating at other times, the whole spectrum. So when I was 20 years old, or 22 probably, I was very much into spirituality. I was very much into yoga. I would practice every day. I was meditating. I was working on the chakras. I loved the chakras. I just loved them. But what I was doing was chakra yoga, was chakra meditation, visualization, healing. I was already a Reiki practitioner. I was working on them on that spiritual level and spiritual growth level. And even though I felt that I was, evolving, I enjoyed it very much. It helped me and supported me in different ways at different times. Still, I was starving myself. I had great difficulties and was had a very negative relationship and very painful relationship with my body. And I was actually abusing my body and abusing food. So even though I was doing all this work, it did not touch on my purely personal, deep issues that had to do with my own life, that had to do with my upbringing, had to do with my life experiences, had to do with the purely personal, human level, like the deep, dirty, shadowy, conscious and unconscious aspects of it. And so this is why I'm really, really passionate about making this distinction very clear. Now, healing approaches like chakra healing, chakra clearing, all of that, and energy healing is also very much a part of my work. It's very much a part of the work that I do. But it is not just that. So today I want to talk about what chakra psychology really is and what chakra therapy really is. Now, let me see, I'll check with my notes because I have some notes and I don't want to leave anything out. So, okay, so yes, that's right. So first of all, very often we might try to bypass that deep personal level, the very human issues that we face and go straight to the spiritual. And these days I work a lot with, healers, with light workers, with coaches, with spiritual people, people that are involved in spirituality. And I find that a lot, that very often we might try anything and everything on that level, on the periphery, on the healing level, on, on the universal level, before we dive into our body and into our story, and actually go deep down to what has happened to us and how our life experiences have affected and shaped us, and what happens on a day-to-day basis. So, and that is, I say that with a lot of love and a lot of empathy, because I used to do that so much in the past myself. So no judgment here. It's just something that I want to note and something that I very often see, and sharing it to support you to identify that for yourself, possibly. So what chakra psychology and chakra work really is. Starting from there, what I want to mention first is that any work that we do on ourselves is ultimately chakra work. Even if we don't work on the chakras specifically, my hand is getting tired and I'm sorry if this is, shaking. So even if we don't work specifically, I need to find a way to, hold on, just bear with me. Okay. So even if we don't work specifically on a chakra, even if we don't address the chakra, we don't name the chakra, we don't say that we do chakra work, any healing and self-development and therapeutic work or coaching work or anything that we do to support ourselves to grow and face certain issues is chakra work. And depending on what we're working on, we are ultimately working on one chakra specifically. Like, for example, if you have low self-esteem and you go to a therapist or a coach to help you develop that, then you are working on your third chakra, the self-esteem, ego, self-confidence, and also fourth chakra, loving yourself, appreciating yourself. If you have difficulty dealing with your emotions or you're challenged by emotional eating, for example, then you go to a therapist or a coach and you work on that. And you might not know it, but you are doing second chakra work. You're learning how to deal with your emotions and how to take care of yourself so that they don't become the reason for you to struggle. You don't have to comfort and soothe yourself through food, for example. So what I mean to say is that any work that you do, because the chakras represent and cover the whole realm of human experience and of the human personality, any work you do on yourself, you are automatically working on a chakra. So it's not just using crystals, and it's not just doing meditation or yoga asanas that stimulate the chakras. These are all part of it, but anything that you do is actually chakra work. Now, chakra psychology is what the name implies. It is psychology, which means that it deals with the very personal aspects, your own life, whatever issues you're facing on a day-to-day basis, and what you want to strengthen or pacify or discharge in your personality. Chakra psychology addresses just that. So it is psychology combined with the chakra theory. The chakras are part of the yoga and Hindu tradition from India, but they are universal. We all have them, and they represent the same thing in all our psyches. Like, they are representations of certain aspects of ourselves, right? So the first person that actually combined the chakras with psychology was Jung. And if you know me at all, you know that I love Jung. I was trained as a Jungian psychotherapist, and it's like, Jung is in my heart. And what he did is that he saw the chakras as complete realms in and of themselves. And his individuation process, this is what he called the self-growth process of the soul. He combined it. He saw the chakras as being different stages in the self-development journey of the soul in this life. So he was the first one that brought the chakras into psychology, and he realized that the work that he was doing, the therapy that he was doing, and the analysis that he was doing with his clients was actually working on the chakras. He was working on the chakras without knowing it. Now today, what the chakra psychology and therapy that I practice is a combination. It is based very much on the work of my teacher and mentor, Anodea Judith. And if you haven't heard of her, then I really encourage you to go look up her book, Eastern Body, Western Mind. If you're interested in this topic, it's like the Bible. And when you read it, I can see you nodding your head and saying, yes, how can she know exactly what I'm going through just by talking about the chakras? So it is magical, and I had the same reaction when I first read it. So I warmly encourage you to buy and read it if you're interested in this. So in chakra psychology and therapy, what we do is actually use the chakras as the map for us to see where the specific issues that you are facing in your life, and especially in terms of food, weight, and body, lie in each chakra. So we know exactly. Anodea linked the chakras with the stages in the development of an individual. Like, you start from birth, And this is the area, the time that the first chakra grows. And then we go through the rest of the chakras until adulthood. Each time period in our lives, we're focused on one specific chakra. Now, if something goes wrong in these periods, or if a basic need that we had back then was not sufficiently met, or if a skill that we needed to develop was not sufficiently developed, then we experience that in the here and now. It manifests as the issues and challenges and difficulties we're facing. And it's exactly the same with food, weight, and body. So actually, by having this map that combines, the magic of that is that it brings the body, because the chakras are in your body. They're in specific locations inside your body. And it links those parts of your body, those areas of your body, with the specific issues, balances, imbalances, strengths, weaknesses that you might have, and how these affect you in the here and now. So knowing that, we can just go in and say, so this is what I'm facing. I'm facing, emotional eating issues, or I'm facing chronic dieting issues, or I cannot release, I cannot relax, I have to control every bite of food that I put into my mouth, or I diet binge, I'm in between those two areas. So the chakras, the chakra theory, the chakra psychology theory just tells us exactly where the root of the issue lies, in which chakra, in which time period, in which part of your body, in which part of your psyche, the root of your issue lies. And just like that, we can locate it, we can identify it, and go into that realm and do the work that is needed to restore that balance. And restoring the balance is both an energy thing, like it might happen through energy healing, but it's mostly a very practical type of work. Very, very practical. And the tools that we use and the techniques come from many different approaches. It might be psychology or coaching and body work and body therapy and, energy healing. Again, it can be a lot of things, many, many things that are focused on helping you to develop whatever skills and qualities each chakra represents that are necessary and essential for you. But for whatever reason, in your past and in your upbringing, you have not been able to develop them adequately. You have not been able, there has been like a sort of gap or an overdevelopment or an overcompensation. We'll be talking more about that very, very specifically next week in our challenge. And I'll be telling you exactly how the chakra system works and what it means to have an excessive chakra, what it means to have a deficient chakra, and how we restore the balance. But for the time being, what I want to make really clear is that chakra work is not about, this type of chakra work is not about just shifting the energy. It's not about clearing. It's not just about developing spiritually, developing on that higher level, but it's very much about going deep inside yourself and working on your story and using very, very practical tools and approaches to help you change what is going on a daily basis. Okay, this is what I really want to make clear. On Wednesday, let me see if there is anything else I want to say. I think not for the time being, because I don't want to make it a very big video. I want to break it up. Actually, I was preparing for today's video and I had just so many notes and so many things I could say. And so I was like, it's not going to be a one-time video. It's going to be smaller videos. Thank you for the hearts and the love, sending it back. So it's going to be smaller videos just so you can take it in, right? I don't want to give you too much information. For the time being, what I really, if I were to recap a little bit, I'd say that chakra work in this space, like in body primer work, in the soul-bodied group, in the work that I do, is very specific and very grounded and very down to earth. Oopsie. Well, and it works specifically with whatever you are facing in your life right here, right now. There is, of course, there is a strong spiritual aspect to it, and mostly feminine spirituality, as you know, which is also that in itself speaks, it tells something. Feminine spirituality is very much embodied. It is in the body. It is in the here and now. It's very grounded. So I'm not interested in, basically it's amazing. It's all amazing approaches. All the spiritual healing approaches are amazing, and I love them. But from my perspective and my experience, and in my clients' experience and teachers' experience, it is not enough to work on that outer level, on the energy level, to go deep into the root and resolve what has actually caused your problem. And what has caused your problems lies in your past, and lies in your conditioning, and lies in your specific life experiences. So it is in your story. It is in your life. So we cannot bypass that. We cannot bypass the therapeutic work that needs to be done, that digging deep that needs to happen at some point. We can postpone it. We can, avoid it for a certain amount of time. But if you really want to break through and to really resolve once and for all the roots of those issues, then you do have to go deep inside and do that inner work in many different ways. I'll be talking more about that in the next few days. Now, on Wednesday, I'll be popping in live again to talk to you about the body, to talk to you about how the body comes in all of that, and why it's so important, and especially in chakra work, how we use the body to ground our experience. And this is why this work is so important, so healing when it comes to food, weight, and body image issues. Because when you have issues with your body, you really cannot I don't want to say solve them, but heal them, or you cannot do the work purely through your mind. If you're struggling with your body, the work needs to be done in your body as well as your mind. Your body needs to be included, because every body image issue comes from that disconnection, this alienation from your body, this gap between your mind and your body. So we need to bridge that gap. We need to include the body. We need to bring it in very powerfully, just so you can experience it in a different way. Not just talking about it, but experiencing it inside and through your body. Okay, so I will stop here, and I will look at my computer, because I'm not sure how to see your comments here. But if you have any comments and any questions, anything you'd like to know on this topic, just let me see. So give me a second. Okay. So there are no questions for the time being, but if you have any questions, just let me know what it is, and if it makes sense, if it is something that sounds interesting to you. Anything that you have to say, I'll be here for the next couple of minutes and see if anybody pops in with a question or a comment. And then I'm going to close this video and pop in again on Wednesday. And I'll be letting you know, I will actually be creating a sort of schedule for us as a preparation for the challenge next week. Because, this is, I know that obviously most of you do not know exactly what that is. It's a very new thing. It really is a very new thing. And so I want to introduce it to you slowly and step by step, just so you don't become overwhelmed. And we can just, break it down into pieces and just take it in and digest it together. Okay? So if there's anything you want to say, just let me know, or just say hi. Just say hi. Let's just say hello to each other and just have that connection. I have to say, I was feeling quite resistant to doing live videos, but I really love it because it's a very different sense. You know, I don't see you, but we are in the same space together, so it feels good. Where would you locate? Okay, so this is how the comments come up. Okay, so where would you locate issues of loss and insecurity around relationships in the chakras? Okay, so different levels and different realms. So insecurity, first of all, the word insecurity brings to mind first chakra, and especially attachment, you know, being attached, having that secure attachment with, you know, both our parents, but everybody, any relationship in the rest of our lives is a very first chakra issue. So the security aspect is in the first chakra, the earth chakra. And obviously, as you know, and I know, my lovely, goes back to our relationship with our mother, mostly, you know, childhood and all of that. Now, loss, relationships, on the other hand, are a second and fourth chakra issue. Like, we start to connect and we explore the connection and separation polarity in the second chakra, which is about our emotions, it is about pleasure, it's about sensuality, especially if it is love relationships. It's definitely connected to second chakra too. And obviously fourth chakra, because there is that love and that giving and receiving aspect of it. And the loss and grief is also fourth chakra. Like letting go of something and completing something, and the process of grieving is a very fourth chakra. It happens through the heart, right? And it really happens through the heart. So I would say, again, you know, it sounds like mostly first and fourth chakra to me. Let me know how that sounds. Let me know if that sounds true to you. Okay, Laura says, I'm curious what chakra you're developing at age 11 and 15. My daughters are these ages. Let me see. So adolescence, oops. Thank you, Anna. Adolescence is mostly sixth chakra. Fifth and sixth chakra. So the fifth chakra, you're very, very welcome, my lovely. So fifth chakra, Laura, 11 might be fifth chakra. It is the throat chakra. It is all about self-expression, creativity, going towards that realm of a more vague symbolic thinking, and just developing as a separate being that has, you know, her own voice and her own presence in the world, and she can express herself both, you know, at school and outside, with friends, with family. She becomes a separate individual, and she expresses her right. She exercises her right to express herself and to have a voice and to have a personal truth. Now, 15 is more towards the sixth chakra, third eye chakra, which is all about thinking symbolically, thinking, you know, moving away from the realm of the matter into symbolic thinking and into the realm of the archetypes too. Like going to that thought. There is a lot of thought in that space. So it's mostly about, and also imagination, a lot of imagination on that level. So I'd say fifth and sixth chakra, they're moving away from the very specific, concrete, personal, material aspects, and going higher a little bit into the realm of thought, imagination, connection with high above. You know, if they have any spiritual interests, it might have come up now. And also expressing themselves and viewing themselves as separate individuals with their own voice and the ability to create things for themselves. Okay, anything else? I hope this answers your question, Laura. Anything else that you might want to know? I'm here for the next couple of minutes. And then I'll sign off. I hope that my phone will keep the whole video and post the whole video because it says my storage is full. But we will see. Okay. So it looks like this is all. If you have any more questions, just post them beneath the video and I will reply to you personally in the group. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you're watching the replay as well. And I'll be coming back to the group and letting you know what I will be talking about in the next few days. Again, any questions and any topics you want me to cover, please let me know and I'll do so in the next few days. Lots of love to you. Bye-bye.